good to have you joining us. I'm Sharon Caddy, Kate Wheeler here, and we are so happy to be joined now by Jessi Cruikshank. You know her from all the work on television. Jessi, welcome to the studio.
Well, thank you so much. You make me want to have a better voice.
I do.
It's the sexy radio voice.
You both.
No, that was me pretending to have my sexy radio voice. I don't actually talk like that. But yes, I know there are people that have a sexy radio voice, and Sharon is one of them.
Sharon has a very. I want to bottle that voice.
Well, you know, if everything falls through, there are phone services that you
Hey, who knows? You might be doing it on the side.
There you go. There is extra income to be made somewhere.
That could be a reality show.
Oh, sorry. It could be.
It could be. And you've had so much experience with reality shows.
Oh gosh, too much, really. I mean, the stories I have. How many hours is this show? Because the stories I could tell you about the Hills cast, about the Jersey Lish. I mean, I feel like I've been embedded and trapped in the middle of all these bizarre reality shows, and I have amazing stories.
Yeah.
Well, tell us
okay,
one.
You want to know one?
What's your favorite?
Heidi and Spencer from the Hills.
Okay.
Are certified crazy. I'm not sure if that's a fact, but from my experience, I worked with them for the Hills as I hosted the after show. And one time I went to the Bahamas to cover the Miss Universe pageant at which Heidi was performing. I don't know if you remember when she had a musical career.
Oh, no, I managed to miss that.
You blocked it out, I think, is what you did.
Yeah, there are some things.
A smart thing to do. Well, so I ended up interviewing Heidi and Spencer there about this musical performance, and then she asked me to come and interview her again after the performance, which I did, and then she asked me to come to the after party. And I thought, well, this is a social experiment. I'll go, I'll have a drink, I'll see what this is all about, and I'll go on my merry way. Well, I go by myself, I say goodnight to my camera team. It's 2 a.m., they've been working their butts off. I show up, and Heidi and Spencer look at me, confused, and they say, where's your camera crew?
Oh.
And I said, it's 2 a.m. There are beverages on the table. You're dancing like crazy at this nightclub, but you want me to bring my... Okay. So I'm knocking on the door of my poor camera guys, waking them up, bringing them to the club so we could film... Because Heidi and Spencer always wanted to be on camera.
So if it's not on camera, it doesn't matter.
Right. And as a result, there is a YouTube video with over 1 million views of Heidi performing a lap dance on her husband Spencer while I am sitting right next to them.
Awkward.
Yes. So that's my YouTube claim to fame, everybody.
Well, we do stuff for YouTube, nothing like that.
Yes. Although, Sharon, I don't know, apparently you're launching a new career. So.
Not on YouTube.
No
okay,
video
so
for that one.
Living in LA. How long have you been living in LA?
Gosh, almost 4 years now. I come back here often enough, and I'm a Canadian through and through, so I have to spend time in Canada to, feel like a human being.
To re-ground yourself or something?
Well, LA is just a bizarre place. There are a lot of people. People want to know who you are, what you do, who you know, what you can do for them.
What you can do for them.
What you can do for them. They also want to know where you got your breasts done, but that never really applies to me. But it's like a shorthand there about who did your work. It's a bizarre bubble that the business in LA, and I try to have. All my friends that are Canadian, I try to keep a foot out of it as much as possible.
Now, did you you were engaged? Did you get married? Have you?
Can you imagine if I told you that we had broken off?
That would be bad.
How uncomfortable this would get. No, I'm married.
Good, you got married in June. Good, because I'm thinking the article I read was March, so it's either all fallen off the rails between now and then we could have been, we could have sympathized. We could have said why. That was, but this is good.
Yes.
And you married your editor.
I did, my editor.
Your editor.
How that sounds.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
I did.
That's handy.
It is. Hey, he's responsible for so many of the jobs I've gotten. I met him. Because I asked him, I didn't know him, he was a friend of a friend through my father in New York City, and I asked him to edit my MTV demo tape way back when I was fresh out of college and just had this dream, and he did, and I got the job, and I like to think I've been repaying him ever since.
Or he's been getting you the jobs ever since. You really put a lot of. I mean, obviously, they say if you're, in that field, you should either get involved with a lighting person, or an editor. So you pick the editor.
Oh, a lighting person would help me right now. We're filming part of this interview for your
natural
YouTube.
light. Yeah.
It's a hideous lighting. The sun
And you still look great.
I know.
Stop.
Lighting is always an issue. So
Yes.
do you find now? Your husband lives with you in LA now?
He
you
lives
moved
in LA.
the whole family.
Yes, he lives in LA. Although we got married and I left days after our wedding to come to Toronto and film Canada's Smartest Person, the new show I'm doing at the CBC. So I actually don't know if I'm still married. We're on my honeymoon right now, the three of us.
Isn't that special?
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Now coming back and doing something for the CBC. I see that you've been joking that finally your parents think you've made it.
Yes, actually. I mean, my mom was a host on the CBC my whole childhood, so I kind of grew up going,
Well, tell everyone who your mom is.
Oh, my mom's name is Joyce Resin. Mm-hmm. She's beautiful and my role model and fabulous, but I was always more interested in going to Fred Penner's place when I was a kid. That was the coolest part about the CBC. And then I went on to oddly enough go onto television, and my poor parents were trying to get into the Hills so that they could support me and trying to watch the stuff I do on eTalk and the celebrity stuff. But this is really the thing that I think they're both really excited about, because it's a fun show. It's funny, it's entertaining, but it's also, I think, really going to change the way we as Canadians sort of think about intelligence.
So tell us a little bit about the premise of the show, because it's not all about geniuses, it's about everyday people.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. It's not about if you know your facts or your figures or your trivia. It's not that type of a show. We are using this cutting edge theory of multiple intelligence, which says that there are 6 different categories of intelligence that make up a well-rounded person. So, categories like linguistic intelligence, which you two are, I hopefully gifted at.
Yeah, we're much better at that kind of stuff.
I'm gooder than you.
Perhaps
social intelligence.
Right.
You speak to people for a living. You can read social cues and do okay at a cocktail party, I would assume. And
for a while.
Depends what's being served.
That's right.
And then there are things like logical intelligence, visual, math,
right.
science, those categories. So we're looking for people, and like you said, everyday people. We've got a cheese salesman competing against a poet and a physicist and a scientist. And we're seeing how well-rounded they are and testing them in all these crazy, fun, hilarious
You know what I
challenges.
love about this, though?
Yeah.
It's so Canadian, because in the United States, it's, are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Right.
And generally no.
Like, they're acknowledging that most aren't. And here we're saying the average person has various areas of intelligence, and you put it all together, and we're pretty smart people.
It's so true. You're the first person who ever. It's true. In the U.S., that's the standard.
Yes.
Are you smarter than an 8-year-old?
Yeah.
But here you're absolutely right. We're looking for the sort of most versatile smarts, and I think it will show people watching at home. They'll learn more about their own intelligence. I sort of never thought that social intelligence was a real form of smarts until now. I'm giving myself props.
Well, I enjoy this kind of show. Like you say, at home you're playing along, you're testing yourself, you're feeling smart. If I watch, are you smarter than a 5th grader? Yes, I know Hungary's a country, not just a state of being. Did you not see this one?
No.
Yeah, Hungary.
Hungary. That was Miss Kelly Pickler. Check it out on
Oh
YouTube. Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
That's a classic, that one.
Budapest is the capital of, as she said, France.
Oh.
And then when the 5th grader said Hungary, she goes, Hungary. Hungary.
That is
Like, I'm hungry?
devastating.
Yeah, I know.
Well, this show was really cool because in the U.S., I do a game show on the CW network out of Los Angeles, and we get, thousands of people applying to fall in water on television. You know, people in America want to do anything to get famous. We're not like that. That's not what
We don't want to look stupid on TV.
Yeah. But you would be surprised. This show had more applicants from across the country than any other show like it in Canada.
That's fantastic.
Thousands of people want to prove that they are Canada's smartest person.
And we are going to talk a little bit more about how they made it, how many people are on the show, and when it starts, coming back on the other side of the break here at What She Said. So stay with us, and we'll be talking a little more with Jessi Cruikshank.